Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the Laughter Lab. So we're going to start the session. This is an interactive workshop between myself, Wendy, and Dan. So we're each going to introduce ourselves just to give you an idea of who we are. And then we're going to jump into a number of improv games, which brings improv skills to people who stutter. And then we'll have a question and answer session towards the end. The main goal here is to relax and bring laughter, bring freedom and ease, because as a person who stutters myself, I know that it can be quite challenging to learn to laugh at having a stutter. So to tell you a little about myself, obviously I'm not from here, I'm Irish. I grew up in Ireland. I have a stutter, and I began stuttering at around the age of 6 or 7 after a bullying incident in school. And I went through state speech therapy, and it was helpful up to a point, but my speech relapsed every time I left formal speech therapy. And I became a rather effective covert stutterer. So I could hide my stutter, except in very stressful times. When I graduated university at the age of 25, my speech was a very limiting factor. And I discovered a program called the McGuire program back home, which was run by recovering stutterers for recovering stutterers. And it taught me a technique, costal breathing and non-avoidance techniques. And it was the first time I ever became part of a community of people who stutter. And that was really my grounding in speech therapy. And it's the one that I've remained closest to, even to this day. When I finished the McGuire, I discovered I was quite eloquent and I loved speaking. Some people unkindly say I love the sound of my own voice too much, but that led to teaching and to a diploma in television presentation and performance, and eventually acting, which is how I ended up here in Vancouver, because this was Hollywood North. The acting didn't work out as I planned, and over the last few years, I actually wrote a book about my journey with my stutter. But I'm also gay. So the book is called Just One More Drive, the true story of a stuttering homosexual and his race car. And at the moment, I'm really fascinated by the mental health aspects and the overlaps in terms of mental health with having a stutter and being gay, because there are overlaps there. And that's how I met Wendy. I invited her to a book event and we connected. And we've become friends working on the Unblockables with Dan. And with that, I'll turn you over to Wendy.
Thank you very much, Robert. So can you hear me okay? Oh, all good?
Yes.
Okay. So as Robert says, I'm a speech and language pathologist, and I've worked with people who stutter since, I'm almost embarrassed to say, but since the summer of 1980. So probably before, I'm guessing, everybody here was even born. It's been a real interest of mine in my professional career. And mostly I enjoy working with older teens and adults who stutter, although I also work with kids. And I also work with people with neurological problems like stroke and brain injury. So those two areas are what I focus my career on, neurological and stuttering. And of course, some people would say that there's an overlap between the two, in that there may be a neurological underpinning to stuttering. But we're not here to talk about that. Robert is quite correct. I met him when, out of the blue, I got this email that said, "My name's Robert. I've written this book called Just One More Drive, the true story of a stuttering homosexual and his car." And I just thought anybody who would write out of the blue to a stranger and had written a book like that is probably pretty well worth meeting. And I was not wrong about that. We've become fast friends and have been looking for opportunities to work together. Then quite by happy accident, I met Dan, and wave to the crowd, Dan.
Hi.
And when I learned that he does improv for different people who have speech differences, such as people with Parkinson's disease, I said to him right away, Dan, you and I have got to do improv for people who stutter. It'd be so much fun and such a positive way to indirectly address the mental health issues and enjoyment. So the rest, as they say, is history. And I'll now turn it over to Dan.
Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, it's so nice to hear your introductions. Robert, I didn't know about that bullying incident that incited your stutter. That was amazing to hear. And Wendy, so good to hear again our story about how we met. So it it was seemed like serendipity that brought us together and then started this program. So my name is Dan Dumsha, and I am an improviser. I started my career as a high school teacher, but I was an improviser since grade 5, since I begged my drama teacher to start, or my elementary school teacher to start a drama club. And I just fell in love with this idea of doing plays, being dramatic, and especially inventing things in the moment, storytelling in the moment. So when I moved to Vancouver, it was for the same reason as Robert. It was to become an actor. I was a high school teacher in Toronto, and I moved to Vancouver, and I found improv as an art form. I had always used improv in the theater and as a way to warm up actors and to have fun. And I came to Vancouver and I saw these theaters that were only presenting improv. And so these were nights where people would make up stories and make up skits and sketches based on audience suggestions. And I found it exhilarating and it really clicked with me. So I performed on Granville Island here in Vancouver. There's a big improv theater there. There was before COVID. And so I performed there for 7 years. And my husband is a neurologist. And so he invited me to come and do an improv session for Parkinson's group that was doing an exercise retreat. And they wanted something in the evening that wasn't exercise because they'd been exercising all day long. So we did improv. We did 2 hours of improv. And he was amazed at how they lit up in the session. These were some of his patients that he had never seen, create in the moment and become visible. That was a big theme. It was around becoming visible and not trying to be perfect, not focusing on what should happen or what you can control, but actually just being in the moment and focusing more on connection than perfection. So we started to develop this practice. I opened up my own theater company called Tightrope Improv Theater. And we started bringing improv to people who have Parkinson's. And then that led to bringing improv to anyone who had compromised brain health with the University of British Columbia. That led to improv for people who have Alzheimer's and dementia and their caregivers. That was a huge aha moment, that the caregivers needed to be adaptable and be in the moment. And then we've started a pilot course and then run the first program for the Unblockables, improv for folks who stutter. And in our program, we had 3 sessions where Wendy and Robert and I worked with the participants, played some improv games. We're going to play some with you today. And we developed confidence. We developed this confidence to accept who you are, to be in the moment, and to create with others. And believe it or not, at the end of 3 sessions, we did a show. We had all of our participants do a showcase. They invited their family and friends. It was on Zoom. And we presented games for an hour. And we got the audience to give us suggestions, to give us feedback. And we were so proud of everyone. It was such a wild time. So we're offering this program again. And today we want to give you a taste of it and talk about what we've learned in developing it and bringing it to folks. So the way that we present this program is that I will introduce an improv game. Wendy will give you some insight on how speech therapy and how her experience as a speech language therapist can give us insight into why we're playing the game and what to focus on. Then we play it, and Robert will lead the talk back after to say, how did that feel as someone who stutters? How did it make him feel? What ideas have we been playing with here? And in this, we focus on this ability to just be in the moment and to know that you are enough in the moment. And this has been a theme in the course around the idea of ableism, or like Robert said, covert versus overt stuttering. And to know that, whatever mistakes you make, and this is a big theme in improv, is that we embrace mistakes. And mistakes are the fastest way to learn. They're the best way to form relationships and endear people to you. And that this whole idea of perfection and control, we can actually let go of that and just have more fun in life. So that's what we're going to explore today. Oh, you're on mute, Robert. And whenever someone's on mute, we celebrate it because it's a mistake. Yay!
Yes. I think at this point, Lonnie is going to share the feature video just to give people an idea of that fun and that feature. And then we're going to jump into the games after the video feature. Am I correct, Lonnie? Okay.
Okay, just want to make sure everybody can see my screen. Yes, awesome. I'm gonna start playing it, and if you can't hear it, please let me know.
Oh yeah, I can't hear it.
Okay. I will just do this.
So as Lonnie's queuing it up here, this was a news article on CTV News about our program, and it gives you a taste of what we got up to and gives you some more insight about the unblockables.
Just a second here.
So this is Wendy. While we're getting this going, I'm just going to add another dimension to why we're doing this. Robert mentioned in his introduction that there was often a bit of backsliding or regression after improvement that he had in various kinds of treatment. And we've long known that the only successful programs for stuttering treatment are the ones that have a lot of follow-up over the long term built into them. I'm sure many of you who have had speech therapy are familiar with that concept that you might leave a clinic feeling like you're in control of your fluency when you want to be, but then after a while, it starts to kind of dilute the benefit. So that's one of the reasons that we're doing this, is I wanted to have a different kind of follow-up available to people who stutter, a type of follow-up that wasn't just clinical in focus, that also had a fun component and a confidence building and community building component. So I'm just so thrilled to have Robert and Dan join me in this wonderful, fun idea.
All right, I think we're ready to share the video with the audio this time.
A program in Vancouver uses improv training to help give a voice to those who stutter. Unblockables is a series of virtual workshops in a collaboration between Columbia Speech and Language Services and Tightrope Theatre. The goal of the program is to teach the fundamentals of improv to help participants build confidence and create mistakes.
Even if you have a stutter, life doesn't end, and your life doesn't need to become a lifelong mission to try and control it or, deal with it. It's really about making peace with it and learning to laugh, because at the end of the day, that's, I think, the best medicine.
O'Brien says the biggest hurdle he's had to overcome was learning to laugh at himself and his stutter, and that improv training helped him let go of the notion of having to be perfect.
Awesome. So great to see that again and witness myself dancing on the news. All right, let's get into it. Let's warm up and start to share some of these improv activities. So the first thing I want to share with you is a breathing technique to get present, to get in the moment. I read this book called Breathe by James Nestor, and he proposes that the best type of breathing is nasal breathing. He did an experiment where he blocked his nasal cavities surgically for 2 weeks and did all kinds of blood testing and cognitive testing and exercise, and then compared it to having open nasal cavities and trying to breathe as much through his nose as possible. And he discovered in this experiment that nasal breathing is far superior to mouth breathing. So the more we can take in breath through our nose, it actually slows our pace and brings us into the moment. So I'd like you to feel your connection to the floor, whether it's your feet on the floor, your bum on your chair, your hands on your lap or your desk, and take a deep breath in through your nose. And then let it out through the mouth or nose. And then take a look at our participants here on the screen and take one more breath in. And at this point now, that small technique, those 3 breaths, that will connect you to the audience. I call this the anchoring technique. Just 3 breaths. It helps you get out of your head. So a lot of times when you're in a plan or you're in maybe some nervousness or anxiety that I might stutter, or I have to say something specific, or I know what I need to get done in this meeting, we can get ahead of ourselves. And this connection is so vital to actually be in the moment and not be thinking ahead. So I just want to do it again. It's those 3 breaths. The first 2 are to ground you and to center you. And that 3rd breath in is to connect you to your audience. And then you're equipped with the full lungs to be able to make sound. So once again, breathe in through the nose. Feel your connection to the floor as you breathe out. One more breath in, look at us. And then you'd be connected. Now I'm going to mute everyone, and I'd like you to just practice your introduction. Practice saying your name. We're not going to hear it, but what I want you to focus on is this connection to the group instead of how you sound or if you're stuttering. Have your intention to be to connect to the group. And there's no stakes here because we won't be able to hear you. So here we go. I'm going to mute you all. Mute all. Okay, here we go. Breath in through the nose, feel connected to the ground. Let it out. Breathe in, look at the group. Say your name. Hi. Awesome. So I hope you felt that power of being in the moment. This is what we play with in improv. If you are in the past, which is judging yourself, thinking about how you did, letting your insecurities run the show, that inner critic starts to come out of the mind and starts to criticize your performance or your impression. Or if you're in the future, thinking about what you're going to say next or how you're going to avoid certain words or what you want to contribute, you're getting it ready. both of those things, the past and the future, take you out of the moment. And in improv, if you're out of the moment, you're missing offers. You're missing that ability to connect. So we really want to be in the moment. I invite you to try as much as you can for this session to be in the moment with us. We're going to warm up here. Oh, Wendy, jump in.
I just want to say how much I appreciate this breathing technique, because I have worked with so many people over the years who have somehow got the idea that they have to take a deep breath or some such thing to avoid stuttering. And what ends up happening a lot of the time is they do it incorrectly or in an exaggerated way. And, you know, just this week I had a poor 6-year-old whose school-based speech pathologist had told him to take a deep breath to avoid stuttering, and how he interpreted that was to do this. And I've seen so many people that becomes part of the presentation of their stuttering in adulthood. So this is just such a relaxed, easy way of accomplishing the same thing without an exaggeration. So thank you, Dan.
I share this with everybody. I coached a CFO of a big energy company this week, and he's gearing up for Investor Day, where he's going to talk about his company to investors. And I shared this same technique, because if he's in his plan about what he wants to say, he's not going to have that connection, that warmth, and that fluency. Even though he doesn't have a stutter, he still has all these technical terms and all these financial ideas that he wants to convey. If he's in his mind, it's not going to connect, and it's not going to inspire that potential investor. So the same technique works to just get present in the moment and then connect it to your audience. Thanks, Wendy. Okay, let's warm up by getting some laughter going, some different types of laughter. So we've got everyone on mute. So, you know, the only people who are going to hear this are the ones who are in your house, and who cares what they think? You have all day to give them a different impression. So we're just going to try different types of laughter to warm up the voice, and also to get a little bit silly, to take ourselves a little less seriously, and to be more gracious with ourselves. So in the chat, I'll start the first one, and then you'll suggest different types of laughter that we're all going to try. So the first one will be a chuckle. So take a deep breath in and try a chuckle. Great. Okay, let's hear some more in the chat. What else could we try? Try chuckle. Oh, Roxanne says belly laugh. Okay, that's a good one. Let's try belly laugh. Oh, Lisa's got a good one. Cackle. Let's do a cackle. Sudeepa, Dr. Evil laugh, a Dr. Evil laugh. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Great. All right. Chinmay says, I'm so glad my flatmate went out shopping for this afternoon. I'm laughing on the top of my voice now. Great. Okay, let's have 1 or 2 more. How about, oh, the Lonnie's got a good one. Snorting laugh. The snorting laugh. That's a good one. All right. What about, oh, Sudeepa, this is a good one. The baby giggle. The baby giggle. Great. Okay, so give yourselves a round of applause. We borrow from the ASL community on Zoom, because it's impossible to hear everyone clapping at the same time, but it's great to fill up the screen with a bunch of shimmering hands. Okay, we're going to get into some games now. I want to play 3 games with you today. So our course focuses on 3 themes. The first one is presence and saying yes. And already we kind of explored this today around presence. Second one is cultivating laughter. And we did that a bit in our warm up. And then the third one is celebrating mistakes. So these games will touch on these themes with us today. The first one is called Yes, That's Right Infomercial. And this really applies the improv technique of saying yes and. If you've ever heard improv be explained, I'm sure a teacher has shared this concept of yes and. It means I'm accepting the offer of my improv partner and I'm building on it. So I might open an improv scene by saying, this is my dog Scooter. And then my improv partner might actually say yes, and he's so fluffy, right? I mean, yes, and he does bite sometimes, right? So we're building together. Instead of asking each other questions, we're accepting and building. It would be very different than if I said, this is my dog Scooter. And the person says, that's not a dog, it's a parrot, right? That's blocking my offer. And so in improv, when we block, we say no, or we deny the reality of the offer. That also gives you some insight into the name of the course, Unblockables. And of course, a block in stuttering is where you don't have fluency because your stutter kicks in. So this idea of being unblockable is what we're playing with. This first game is called Yes, That's Right Infomercial. So we're going to put you with a partner and you're going to sell a product that we come up with right now. So Robert, will you demonstrate this with me?
Yes, Dan, I will.
So the only rule here is that you give one idea at a time. You might be tempted to give more than one idea at a time. And before every idea, you say, yes, that's right. And you'll just feel what impact that has in telling your partner that what they just said was correct and you're building on it. So can I get in the chat a product that does not exist that Robert and I are going to be selling together in this infomercial? What could we be selling? A product that you need. You know, I wish this existed. I have not ever seen it. A unicorn shampoo. Exactly. For all those dirty unicorns, we need to wash them with a shampoo. So here we go. We're going to start this scene to thunderous applause in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone out there in TV land. My name is Dan.
Yes, yes, and my name is Robert.
Yes, that's right. And Robert and I today have an exciting new product to share with you.
Yes, we do. It's an exciting product called Unicorn Shampoo.
Yes, that's right. Have you ever wondered, how will I get this unicorn clean?
Yes, I think about it every morning, first thing when I wake up.
Yes, that's right. And first thing in the morning is the best time to use our unicorn shampoo.
Yes, because unicorns are rather dirty in the morning.
Yes, that's right. It's a little known fact that unicorns like to roll in the mud at night. So what a better time than to wash them right at the crack of dawn.
Yes, and they love being in very warm showers in the morning.
Yes, that's right. You can invite your unicorn into the shower with you to give them a good lather.
Yes, that's right. But you need to be careful of their horn.
Yes, that's right. The horn can be sharp. That's why if you order now, we'll also include this horn styrofoam protector.
Yes, and it will keep you and your family safe when you're washing your unicorn first thing in the morning.
Yes, that's right. Enjoy afternoons with your clean unicorn when you buy our product. Okay, let's end it there.
That was lovely.
Thanks, Chinmay. So we didn't know what the product was going to be, right? Chinmay suggested that, and we just went with it. You notice that if I had done it alone, I wouldn't have had those ideas. I wouldn't have thought about the unicorn being dirty in the morning. I wouldn't have thought about the horn being an issue. I wouldn't have thought of bringing the unicorn into the shower with me. It was only because we went back and forth and each of us gave one idea at a time. And instead of judging the ideas or saying no, we were building on them. Now, it was fine to have a pause as we waited for the other person to go, because you were anticipating what they were going to say. So that was a great time to really listen and to really be present and to go at the pace of collaboration, right? And we didn't have to be urgent about it. We were enjoying the creation. So what I'm going to do is create breakout rooms, and I'm going to put you in with a partner, and you are going to do exactly what we did. You're going to sell a product that we come up with right now. Now, if you want to talk about the game instead of playing the game, that's okay. You can get in there, and to signal that, you can go like this: T, I would just want to talk. Or if you don't want to talk, you can just chat about it with your partner in the chat and say, just start out by saying in the chat, just write, let's chat. I encourage you to try playing the game and to embrace mistakes and see what happens. The fun comes not in being perfect. The fun comes in exploring and taking it lightly. So can we get a suggestion, please, of what the product is going to be that you and your partner will sell?
I think after the unicorn shampoo, we have fart silencer in the chat. Anita mentioned fart silencer.
I did see fart silencer, and let's take it. Sure, why not? Okay, I'm gonna put the rooms in here now. And Robert, are you good to go into a room with someone?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. And Lonnie, if you would like to join a room as the host, you can pick a room to join as well. Maybe room 2 is where Robert is going to be. Okay, so this is going to be a fart silencer. You can decide if it's for the farts around you that are bothering you or for your own personal farts. I mean, you know, or as my dad said, maybe for old farts. Because sometimes they need to be silenced. Okay, we're going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll give you a 1 minute warning when we're about to close the room. And the most important thing is have fun. Okay, here we go. This is Yes, That's Right infomercial. Welcome back. We should have everyone join us in just a moment here. In 1 second. Here they come. All right. Robert, do you want to take up that activity with us?
Yeah, Chris and myself had a great chat about it. We were just talking about how you can feel a little bit anxious, but that the main idea is to just relax. And we just talked. We just spent a little bit of time together, and yeah, it was a nice opportunity to take a breather.
Would anyone like to share something funny that their partner did, or something funny that they did with their infomercial? You can put it in the chat or raise your hand and share with us. Lisa threw in a bonus burp silencer. That's great. Anita, they come in different sizes. Chinmay, I was about to sell bundle pricing, offer of a fart silencer plus 2 free refills, but time ran out. 2 for 1 sale. Great. Okay. So in an activity like this, we can get to focus so much on the fun that you forget about any kind of perception that you have. You know, and when we do this improv work with, let's say, the Parkinson's population, some of them have a tremor or a shaking. And it's great because when we do that improv, we can look right beyond it and get to the fun, right? And you don't even see the tremor after just the first start of the scene. You just look right past it. And the same is true here for the stutter. 2 for 1 sale. They'll cure greenhouse gas emissions by developing fart smell neutralizers for cows. Nice, Wendy. That's great. Okay, so that was the game. Yes, that's right, infomercial. I want you to reflect on how it felt when your partner said, yes, that's right, after your ideas. Right? Didn't that feel great where you presented an idea and you were just built up and confirmed, right? After each contribution. That's the power of improv, that we have each other's backs, that we're inspiring our partner. Okay, this next game is called Dr. Know-It-All. And this is a fun game that gets us to work together as a team. So in this game, we answer questions from the group 1 word at a time. So I'd like to demonstrate this with Wendy and Robert. And so our order will be Wendy, Robert, Dan. Wendy, Robert, Dan. And we will be a know-it-all doctor about any topic. So let's say, first of all, let's get a topic. What are we an expert on? Can someone write in the chat what this doctor is going to be an expert of? Let's be an expert on handwriting. I saw poor handwriting. Great. Okay, so it will go Wendy, Robert, Dan, and now let's have a question about handwriting. What question would you like to ask this world famous? We have a world famous doctor today. Looks like 3 people, but it's actually, we share one brain. And and what question do we have about handwriting? Is an OT an expert in handwriting? So is an occupational therapist an expert in handwriting? So there's the question. Here we go.
Some people think that an occupational therapist is an expert in handwriting, but in fact, the most expertise in the world of handwriting is owned by people with the world's worst handwriting. That is because people with bad handwriting can skip medical school and go directly to becoming a physician and writing prescriptions.
So Wendy gave a great answer, and we're going to celebrate that answer. It was a big mistake because what we're doing is a word at a time answer where Wendy gives one word. And Wendy had some
Right.
expertise.
Okay, I forgot the game. All right. Big mistake.
Which is
Yay.
awesome, right?
Okay.
Okay, so and now we'll answer it as a team, one word at a time. So is an OT an expert on handwriting? Wendy, first word.
No,
They,
Are
not
the,
real
experts,
in,
handwriting.
because
they,
Don't
really
know,
handwriting.
instead
they,
Type.
or
use,
Dictation.
and
that,
Isn't.
very
proficient.
And then we end our answer with a little bow like that. So you can see this game is tough because where you think you're going, right? And it was actually great that Wendy gave an answer first because it showed what one person can do when they're in control, right? You can give an answer that is at the top of your intelligence and you're planning it. Our answer that we worked on together was very different, right? Because not one person can control it. You got to take what is given to you and then make sense of it. And sometimes you get into a grammatical dead end where it's like, I don't know where to go from here. So you can just bow and then start a new sentence, start a new word. So would anyone like to try this? If you want to put up your hand, I'll spotlight 3 folks and we'll have a new doctor try this and see if how they do on answering our questions. Anyone want to try today? Lonnie, great. Sudeepa, okay, great. So I'm going to spotlight Lonnie. I'm going to find Sudeepa there and there. Here we go. Add a spotlight. And I think Anita, you want to try? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, great. I'll put Anita in here. And why don't we put 4 people in here because I saw Chinmay had hand up as well. Okay, so add spotlight. So our order here will be Lonnie and then Sudeepa and then Anita and then Chinmay. So, and you know what, Adipa, I love that comment there. I'm Swedish Dutch, bear with me. It's going to make it even better. That's awesome. Okay, we need, this doctor is going to be a different expert. What are they an expert in? Give a moment here if anyone has a suggestion what they're going to be an expert in. I'll suggest one if we don't get one. In 3, 2, chocolate pizza. Okay, so dessert pizza. This is a doctor of, the doctor of being a chef, dessert pizza. I'll start the first question here. Doctor, what is the secret to making a delicious dessert pizza?
Did you
And I'll type it along here. So we've got, did you?
What's the order now?
Anita, you're next. Yeah. So it goes Lonnie, Sudeepa, Anita, Chinmay. So the question is, what's the secret to a great dessert pizza? And we have, did you
Have
desert
pizza in
your
life?
Did you have dessert pizza in your life? So it seems like the secret to dessert pizza is simply the concept of dessert pizza. Doctor, what is the most common ingredient in dessert pizza?
well
what?
Chocolate,
is the
Main
Ingredient.
But dark.
Melted.
Humor.
Humor.
Can. Make.
Significant.
Improvement.
Yay! Let's end it there. Good job. Thank you for being with us today, Doctor. Very good. Okay, I'll remove the spotlights now and go back to my gallery view up top here so I can see everyone. Big round of applause for our Dr. Know-It-All there. Awesome. Robert, do you want to, or Wendy, do you want to weigh in on this game and how this game applies to those who stutter?
Yeah, I think the great thing about this particular game is you can plan. As a stutterer, we often edit what we're going to say. If there's a feared word, we'll try to think of some other word. And this really gets us out of our head because we've no idea what's coming next.
My comment is actually a question for the people who participated in this game and the last one. Did you find that your stuttering increased or decreased when you were actively playing these games? You can put answers in the chat, perhaps.
Decrease.
Decreased. Thank you, Anita.
Sudeepa said the same for them. Yeah.
Okay. Any ideas about why that might have happened? What you were experiencing?
I think that we cease to be ourselves, and we just kind of get shot out of a cannon from who we are to the outside world. So we stop being in our minds, where our minds is just populated with stutter. But then if we go outside, there's just no stuttering. So and that's why I commented, wait, what stutter? Because while doing those exercises, I briefly forgot that I stuttered.
Wow, that's so powerful. Yeah, that's what I've noticed when we've done these games with other people as well. It's like instead of your head being full of automatic negative thoughts about how I might be about to stutter, you're focused on your partner and you're focused in the moment.
Great. And
Yeah,
thank you, Christopher, for that comment too. We're not always ready to participate, and we always make it a choice in our activities and in our classes to observe. You're here and you're part of our chemistry as a group by being an observer, and sometimes just watching can be a way to feel like you belong and to be affected by the work. So one of our mottos in our improv classes is that suffering is optional. You make it work for you. And that's what we love to do, to include everyone. Okay, let's do another game. This is our third game. One of my improv teachers said to a troupe that I started in, and this is a troupe for queer performers here in Vancouver. It's called Queer Prov. And we were really trying to be funny in the shows, so much so that we were blocking each other's ideas to try and make jokes. And he said to us, instead of trying to say funny things, how about if we try to say things funny? You don't have to be funny. You can just sound funny. And this is a really fun activity for us because you don't have to be witty. You don't have to say something funny. I just want you to say something in a funny way. And this could explore pitch, What's your favorite type of ice cream? I like chocolate ice cream. It could be tone. What do you like to do for exercise? Well, I like volleyball. Or it could be pace. How many brothers and sisters do you have? I've got 4 sisters and 36 brothers. Right? So, you know, just the spontaneity there can come in how you say things. And that's a really good point. This is the secret of Mr. Bean. That's right. You know, saying regular things, but saying them funny. Okay, so I would like volunteers. If you want to play this game, you can raise your hand, either actual hand, or you can raise your virtual hand. And I'll just ask you a question, and I want you to answer me in a funny way. What you say can be the most boring thing, but I want you to play with how you say it. And you can surprise yourself. There's no mistake here. There's no way of doing this wrong at all. And if it takes you a while to give your answer, we'll just assume that you're playing with pace. Okay, Lisa's got the first one. Lisa, where would you live in the world in your dream location? Oh, and you have to unmute. Yay.
I would live in San Francisco.
Awesome. Okay, someone else put up their hand. Okay, Anita, what is the perfect size of mug to drink hot chocolate in? Oh, and unmute.
Well, you know, the bigger, better.
Very nice. Okay, Christopher's going to have a try. Unmute. Christopher, what is the best type of pet to keep in the house?
A kangaroo, Dean. That's what I have in the backyard.
Well done. Great work. Great work. Anyone else want to give it a try? Okay, Laura. Laura, I need to buy a hammer. What's the best store to go to?
I buy my hammers from the dollar store.
Great. Good job. Good job. Okay, anyone else? Can do 1 or 2 more. Anyone want to try it? Okay, Chinmay. Chinmay, if you want to take a long trip, what's something that you should not forget at home?
Map. Say map.
Good work. Good work. All right, Roxanne. My mom is redecorating her living room. Do you have any decor advice?
You should always use a bright pink. Pink is where it's at.
Great work. Nice. Okay, so I want to applaud everyone who tried that out. You know, this idea of normalcy, right? Sounding normal or getting things perfect. We've just thrown it out the window here. That wasn't the objective of the activity. It was to take ourselves lightly. It was to have fun. And what everyone did there was so awesome. Robert or Wendy, do you want to weigh in there?
My Zoom connection was kind of dropping, so I missed that last section, but it did look like fun. So
It was quite a lot of fun, you know. It was, really.
Awesome. Well, we're just nearing our time here for our session, this Laughter Lab session on the unblockables. If anyone has any questions, we can take them 1 or 2 questions now.